Hello everyone, this is Anna with CSSE1001 and 7030 Assignment 1 Overview for Semester 1 2018. What we're going to get you guys doing in this assignment is getting a data file, and it's up to you guys to clean it. Some of the data is just not capitalized or formatted correctly, but some data is just completely wrong. And then you just got to say this is corrupted. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's corrupted. So let's get into exactly what you guys are doing. So here we've given you guys a bunch of data, and some of it's correct, some's just needing formatted, some are just wrong. There's a whole bunch of rules that I'll go over later, but if you have a look here, for example, this one seems to be correct, right? Some just need to be formatted, like example Japan for the country code needs to be all capitalized. But some are just completely wrong and corrupt, like this STSS, so a four-letter country code. For like example, AUS is Australia, right? We need you guys to get your own file. You want to get your assignment, you want to read through it, format it, or just say it's corrupt. And this is an example of what the file should look like. So all the correct ones, good to go. Just leave it, like just format it, and it's good to go. For example, CAN, all capital country codes. Surname's going to be cut down to 30 characters long. However, if you notice that, for example, here, the STSS, the four-letter country code, is wrong, right? So we just put a corrupt at the end of it. And that's what we're expecting from you guys for this assignment. So, as I was mentioning, let's go through exactly what the rules on what is corrupt and what is not. So, if you have a look at this data and the following section about processing, we've outlined a couple of rules. Just warning you though, there are quite a few, so I'd recommend going through the highlighter, paper and pen, just writing them all down, all the conditions and whatnot. And once you've written that code for that bit of rules, just tick it off the list. I've highlighted a few, but hopefully it'll give you a good idea of what we're expecting. So here, each column that we're seeing, for example, athlete identifier, we can just remove that from the clean one. That was a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The event names are like men's triathlon, athlete's first name, surname, da-da-da-da-da. If you have a look at these rules, they're very specific on what we need. For example, columns 1 to 5 must have every data, like data in every row. Column 6 onwards, we don't mind. Might be, might not be. Other conditions like columns 10 to 12 do not need to correspond to the first place in column 6, right? If column 11 contains a legal value, then it must equal the value in column 10, right? If they break a world record, we expect they would break an Olympic record. There's also, if you scroll down, processing. So some data that is okay just needs to be formatted, like those country codes, and also some just straight up wrong, it's corrupt. For example, columns do not exceed the maximum specified number of characters. So if we say this is 30 characters long, for the event name, athlete's first name, and surname, it's completely fine. We just truncate it, make it shorter. But for every other column, just go, sorry, it's corrupt, and just chuck corrupt at it. So I would recommend reading through that yourself and getting an idea on what we need from you guys. If you guys still want more clarification, here is an example of 4 lines of raw data converted. For example, if you see here, Charlman Davis is longer than 30 characters long. But since it's a surname, completely fine. We just cut it off. Same with this AUS. The U small, big use. However, for example, this 14 is not like a whole number or something. We call it corrupt, and then we just leave everything else as it was originally. So AUS is not converted. Cool. So now once we've gone through what we need you guys to do, let's have a look at what we give you. So we give you 2 Python files, assign 1 and assign 1 utils. So in assign 1, you have your main function and a remove athlete ID. So this main function is like the brain. It controls everything you do. So here we've already given you some code. So we're opening a file. We're going to read line by line. We're going to process it, row to process. And this is where you go and check if your country codes are right, your first name's right, your surname's right, all that kind of stuff. You might realize though now that there's a lot of things to check, and there's a lot of ifs and that's and whatnot. So I'd recommend, like what we did with this remove athlete ID, wherever you see something that's like, oh, this is really repeated, it's really like this separate piece of logic, feel free to make your own function for it. And we would recommend it because it's a lot harder to read chunks like walls and walls and walls of code not knowing what's happening. But these small bite-sized pieces of code is a lot easier to understand. Cool. Also, we're like, okay, this is a big assignment. Let's give you guys some help. We've given you 3 utility functions that might help you in logic. So let's have a look at them. So we have 3. You can read this in your own time. Get column, replace column, and truncate string. I'm going to take a step back here and just highlight something really important to you guys. So you see this green thing? This is called your docstring. It just goes that you need to write for every single function you ever write, right? There's one quick sentence on what this function is doing. Replace the data at an indicated column in the row. Pretty chill. It's very concise. You know what this function is doing. Parameters, what we expect to get given. We expect to get given a row, which is string, data, which is string, column number, which is an integer. And then a quick, like, one phrase, one sentence, what we're expecting. For example, index of the data to be replaced. Cool. Truncate string. Oh, sorry. What am I talking about? Return. Return is basically what you're going to get returned. You're going to get returned a string. It's updated row with the data. Preconditions is what you can't put in. For example, you can't have a negative column number. Like, what is a negative 20 column number for this function in particular? So I'd really recommend having a look at them. They're pretty helpful. But again, don't run this. You want to run your assignment 1, PY. So that's what we've gone through. So we've gone through our rules, like what we're actually doing, what corrupt files and what not. Then the design, like what we've given you. I'd really recommend it in your own time reading some of these hints. I have talked about it indirectly, but still again, these utility functions, but also these built-ins are very helpful, like is digit, upper, all that. Extension, this is for 0.5 out of 10 marks, you can do this extension. So I would recommend to students do your overall main assignment first. Then if you still have time, and if you still have the motivation, go for this extension. It's really worth it, like learning-wise. But at the same time, 0.5 marks for so much extra work. You have other courses, so up to you. Submission, go through it yourself. Assessment marking criteria. I'll quickly go over what we expect in general, because this is this is a common repeat criteria sheet that we'll be using for the rest of the semester. So we have documentation. I've already talked about this. Comments are clear and concise. These are the doc strings. All functions have informative doc strings. You will not get 1 mark out of 10 if you do not have all functions, right? And also significant blocks of program logic are clearly explained by comments. So for example here, if I was a marker, I was like, okay, what exactly is this person doing with a row to process equals row? Just chuck in a one-liner, just going, hey, this is what I'm doing. I know it's a little odd, like confusing if you don't get it straight, like if you're not the programmer. So here is what this row is effectively doing. Don't do this for everything, just the ones that are confusing. Programming constructs, basically structured and readable. So if I come in, it's well structured, not those blocks of text and code I was talking about. Logic is appropriate, meaning no if statements inside loops. And functionality, basically does it work? And as I was saying, 2 or more extension for 0.5 marks. Up to you. Would recommend to get the rest done first. Okay, so that was a quick overview of the assignment. Good luck. A couple things I want to mention. Tutorials are really helpful. Get started now. You might not be able to have all the knowledge to program it straight away as of the 25th of Feb, but just start getting at it. By week 3, you should be able to do it. But start trying your hardest at it. Like and subscribe. Good luck.